It was like an outer body experience, and I feel like I've heard that before. I felt it for the first time at Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl has given viewers so many exciting celebrity moments over the years, from the halftime show to the field. One of the most memorable moments in the history of the big day goes to Rihanna, who famously revealed she was pregnant with her second child during her halftime performance. She stepped out in a cherry red jumpsuit zipped halfway open and placed her hand on her bump right away, making it clear that she had a baby on the way. But, as Rihanna later revealed, she wasn't exactly planning to announce her pregnancy to the world. It was just how her jumpsuit ended up fitting.
My jumper couldn't zip up.
So I guess we're gonna be out.
No one knew I was pregnant. I just told my stylist, make sure it's stretchy. So the undergarment was stretchy and this was baggy, but you know, the zip, it just stopped right there. So it had to be what it had to be.
No, this is what it is. This is where I'm at.
While Rihanna had everyone talking that Super Bowl, so did the Kelce brothers. Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce and his older brother, Philadelphia Eagles center Jason Kelce, went head-to-head in the big game, becoming the first siblings to ever face off in the Super Bowl. The historic first thrust their mom, Donna Kelce, into the spotlight, and she famously rocked two-sided looks to support both of her boys. She gave Access a peek and revealed what the highlight of the experience was for her.
The highlight was really when both of them won their, conference championships. That day was the kicker. I mean, that was the big point. That was the most intense day of the whole year. So once they made it, it's like the rest of this is a piece of cake. I'm not for them. I mean, they have to practice. But for us as a parent looking on, we're just going to enjoy it. It's going to be pure joy on Sunday.
Right. I hear that you've said you're rooting for the offense. That's why you never get it wrong. You just constantly, if you got
Whoever's
the ball.
got the ball. Whoever has a ball, that's all I need, and I'll be screaming the whole time.
Another Super Bowl moment that made history was in 2020, when Jennifer Lopez and Shakira became the first two Latina artists to headline the halftime show together. The most memorable part of the performance came when JLo's child, Emmy, joined in for a mashup of Let's Get Loud and Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA. Later that year, Emmy told Access Hollywood about the nerves that came with hitting such a big stage.
The Super Bowl was scary at first, thinking about it, of course. But while it was happening, it was all really nice. I got to perform with my mom, and one of my friends actually was dancing there with me.
One of the most star-studded Super Bowl moments came in 2022, when Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar all performed on stage. And it was the first entirely hip-hop-centric halftime show, and a celebration of West Coast rap. Jay-Z explained how that was a purposeful choice, since the game was held in Inglewood, California.
The curation to Super Bowl, I like to go into cities and not just take from and leave something there. So, having Shakira and JLo in Miami, with a strong representation of Latino population, and then having Dre and them in LA, kids from Compton, Kendrick from Compton, Snoop from Long Beach. That's super important to me.
There were so many great moments that came out of it, but possibly the most jaw-dropping was 50 Cent hanging upside down from the ceiling. And 50 later joked about how some people said it was not his best angle.
When you started performing upside down, I almost lost my mind.
And then they caught me with a bad angle. They said I was fat.
No!
They said I was fat. I'm not fat. Look at me.
Y'all better leave 50 alone. This is solid rock.
They tried to play me, man, because I was upside down, and the blood was rushing to my head while I was singing the first half of the song.
I thought you looked great.
His appearance was an exciting moment for his son, who had no idea his dad was going to perform at the big game.
My son was at home and he didn't know exactly what I was doing, because I said I gotta go to work when I'm going to do something. But the cool part was him just watching the Super Bowl, and then he looks and he goes, "Oh shoot, that's my dad."
Wow.
Now let's rewind all the way back to 2007, to when Prince gave us a Super Bowl moment we'll never forget. The music icon brought the house down with his electric performance in the middle of the stadium. And in a coincidence so perfect it felt like fate, he sang Purple Rain as rain poured down on everyone, making for an incredible finale. It was the first time there had ever been rain at a Super Bowl halftime show. And as that year's halftime show production designer Bruce Rogers later recalled, Prince embraced the elements, famously telling him, "Can you make it rain harder?" Lady Gaga also had an unforgettable Super Bowl moment when, during her halftime show, she pulled off a jaw-dropping feat, making it look like she jumped off the roof of the stadium at the start of her show. The moment was pre-taped. She actually floated down to the stage with the help of a harness. But it was the perfect way to kick off her performance. But she's not the only singer who began the halftime show in iconic fashion. Back in 1993, Michael Jackson famously started his performance in a way no other could. He stood on stage without moving or singing a word for nearly 2 minutes, as the crowd went absolutely wild, then proceeded to start his set. As his guitarist Jennifer Batten later told The Sun, "I thought it was a mistake, but it paid off." Not only have there been iconic entrances, but also some iconic exits. Diana Ross left her Super Bowl performance in style, which made an impression on Katy Perry.
I guess Diana Ross famously dropped the mic and was escorted out via helicopter at one point during a Super Bowl performance, and I like her style. Yeah. That's the style. That's the kind of thing I like. Bigger is better.
Katy went on to have her own unforgettable Super Bowl moment when Left Shark became an internet sensation, thanks to the sea creature hilariously dancing to the beat of his own drum. The whole show was full of fun and whimsy, just as Katy had planned.
I'm gonna bring something very special and different and larger than life. I really am gonna play on my strengths, which I believe for me is a combination of humor and sass and color and incredible joy. And hopefully everybody will be singing along to all these songs because they will be quite familiar.
Another fun Super Bowl moment came from Justin Timberlake, when he notably stopped to take a selfie with a fan mid-performance. Justin's wife Jessica Biel was with him at the big game and told Access about the last few minutes before her husband hit the stage.
He's with his band and his amazing dancers, choreographers, backup singers, and they have this really moving prayer circle, and then he gave this really very moving speech, and then they kind of all just take a deep breath, have a moment to themselves, and just blast out of the doors and do their thing. I just sort of step back and let it all happen.
Is it so cool to see that, though? I mean, to see him in his artistry that way.
He was definitely, in my opinion, put on this earth to do that. Mm-hmm. His ability to remember choreography, sing, move from one stage to the next, engage a crowd, relate to a crowd, a huge number of people like that. It's something that you're like, you have that magic powder on you or you just don't.
Yeah.
One of the most incredible Super Bowl moments of all time was Whitney Houston singing the Star-Spangled Banner in 1991. Her jaw-dropping rendition goes down in history as one of the best performances of the national anthem of all time. Another meaningful patriotic Super Bowl moment came in 2002, when U2 performed months after 9/11. The band displayed the names of those who lost their lives in the terrorist attack, and Bono showed off an American flag inside of his jacket. Beyoncé gave us not one, but 2 iconic Super Bowl moments. The first was during her halftime show in 2013, when Kelly Rowland and Michelle Williams joined her, giving us a long-awaited Destiny's Child reunion. The second was 3 years later, when she stepped out as a special guest during Coldplay's show, and debuted Formation, her first single off of Lemonade, just one day after the song was released. She completely stole the show as she and her dancers got in formation on the field, and her joining forces with Chris Martin and Bruno Mars was the cherry on top.